I'm not the prince of the Beijing social scene, I'm the princess. Let's be real, I totally won the birth lottery. My dad's on the Forbes list, and my older brothers and sisters spoil me rotten. If I ask for the stars, they'd pluck them from the sky and throw in the moon for good measure. Let's just put it this way. I can walk all over the capital's social scene, and nobody dares to mess with me. You know that cliché in novels where the rich girl falls for the poor boy? Well, they say art imitates life, because my boyfriend is one of those poor boys. Pan, I'm just saying, you should dump that broke boyfriend of yours. That was my childhood friend, Chun Xian. We're both spoiled rich kids. But I'm a hopeless sucker for a pretty face. I'm a lost cause. That broke boyfriend of mine is just ridiculously good-looking. Besides, I don't sleep around and I don't gamble. What's wrong with liking a little eye candy? Haven't found anyone cuter yet. I replied lazily, my eyes closed. Speaking of him, I figured I'd give him a call, see how he's doing. I dialed his number, but a woman answered. Who is this? Hung is in the shower right now, he can't take your call. Ah, the classic line. I just hung up. Chun Xian teased me from the sidelines. Men are all the same. 3 minutes later, Zhou Heng called me back. Pan, let me explain. Seriously? Did this guy think he was starring in some teen drama? Fine, explain. I cleaned out my ear, waiting to see what kind of crap he'd come up with. That was my childhood friend. She's in town looking for a job, and her parents asked me to look after her. She answered by mistake. There's nothing going on between us. It's completely innocent. Completely innocent? Don't insult the word. I laughed. I was genuinely amused. Darling, I'm not the type to make a fuss over nothing. It's fine, I forgive you. After Zhou Heng hung up, Chun Xian asked me, Why didn't you just dump him? I am bored. I need something to do. And I have a feeling this little childhood friend of his is going to be a fun surprise. Chun Xian told me I was wicked. She's not wrong. Ask anyone in our circle. I, Pan Li, have a reputation for being a total tyrant. I just didn't expect the surprise to come so soon. I'd made plans with a few of my girls to check out the new bags at a designer boutique. The sales associates were beaming the second they saw us, like we were walking dollar signs. In the VIP room, I was picking boredly at the dessert the associate brought me. I casually pointed out a few decent-looking bags and told them to wrap them up. Just as I was about to close my eyes and rest for a minute, the voices outside got louder and louder, giving me a headache. I strode out of the VIP room. And what do you know? If it wasn't my broke boyfriend and his manipulative little childhood friend. Interesting. The moment the sales associate saw me, she rushed over to apologize, promising she'd handle it. What's going on? I asked, blowing on my freshly manicured nails. This customer wanted to try on a limited edition bag that's already been reserved. I politely declined, and she accused us of looking down on her, the associate said indignantly. I sauntered over to them and asked with a smile, Zhou Heng, what are you doing here? Zhou Heng didn't say anything, but the little schemer spoke up first. You must be Miss Li. Heng brought me here to buy a bag. Please don't get the wrong idea. As she spoke, she started looking all teary-eyed and wronged. Give me a break. I hadn't said a word. This girl could really put on a show. Seeing this, Zhou Heng immediately started comforting her in a low voice. Like I can't play that game too? Honey, I haven't said anything to you. Why are you already crying? That's so petty. You want that bag, right? You should have just told me. I'll let you try it on. I told the associate to bring the bag over. As luck would have it, the person who reserved it was my own sister. The associate knew this, so she immediately went to get it. Here you go, honey. Try it on. A flicker of light flashed in the girl's eyes, but she still turned and asked Zhou Heng timidly, Heng, can I? Zhou Heng glanced at me, then nodded. Once the bag was on her shoulder, she started happily striking different poses in front of the mirror. I just smiled and said nothing. Heng, do I look good? I cut in before Zhou Heng could answer. It's perfect for you, sweetie. Honestly, it's like that bag was made for you. Hearing this, the girl lowered her head coyly, sneaking glances at Zhou Heng. Miss Hu will take this one, I said, waving the associate over. I gave her a look, and she understood immediately. When the girl heard me, her eyes lit up. Oh, miss, you shouldn't. Seriously, where does she get the nerve? I'll admit I'm well endowed, but I'm not an idiot. What on earth made her think I was going to pay for it? If it suits you, you should have it, I said with a smile. Thank you, miss. It's nothing. What are you thanking me for? Asterisk exactly. I just let you try on a bag. No need for such profuse thanks. Asterisk. Here's the bill. Will you be paying by card, ma'am? Ms. Hu said, handing the bill to her. The girl froze in a panic. Isn't Miss Lee paying? When did I say I was paying? You're so young, honey. You shouldn't be thinking about getting things for free. The girl's face flushed red, then pale. Finally, Jo-hun couldn't take it anymore and said, I'll get it. Asterisk, oh, please. You'll get it. Every penny you have is what I deign to give you, asterisk. Sir, the total comes to $268,000 even. Since you're a friend of Miss Lee's, we've rounded it down for you. Ms. Hu really knew how to play along. I decided I'd buy a few more bags later to boost her commission. Jo-hun and the girl blurted out in unison, How much? Ms. Hu, ever the professional, repeated the price with perfect clarity. Hung. I don't think I like it that much anymore. Let's not get it, she stammered. Asterisk that delicate little voice. No wonder men fall for that act. It's the only thing that satisfies their fragile male egos, asterisk. All right, if you two can't afford it, to say so. What's with all the drama? I took off my sunglasses and pointed a finger at Jo-hun. And you. We're done. With that, I turned and walked back into the VIP room. I had more important things to do. When people get divorced, they have to split their assets. So now that we've broken up, I'm settling the score. I had my assistant, Xiao Qiao, take back the apartment Jo-hun is living in. I only let him move in the first place because I felt sorry for him. Turns out it was a classic case of no good deed goes unpunished. Living in my place, romancing other women, and probably even sleeping with them. It's absolutely disgusting. Then I sent a few bodyguards over to get back the watch, the clothes, everything I ever bought him. Back when I gave them to him, he put on this whole act, asking if I was looking down on him, thinking he wasn't good enough for nice things. To soothe his pathetic ego, I'd even knocked a few zeros off the price. It wasn't long before Xiao Qiao called to tell me he'd been kicked out. That's my highly paid assistant for you, peak efficiency. I was about to call up Chun Xian to go out and celebrate my breakup. I just stepped out the door when some scruffy guy got in my face, blocking my way. What, you trying to mug me? I've had self-defense training. Pan, it's me. Jo-hun. Seriously? Dude, who even are you? It had only been a few days. How did he end up looking so? Well, sleazy is really the only word for it. Pan, can you just cut me some slack for a few days? I can't find a place to stay. What in God's name did I ever see in him? Whatever. Everyone's blind sometimes. Not a chance. Better get to apartment hunting. He suddenly lunged at me, yelling, You love this face, don't you? Let's get back together. The sheer nerve of this guy. If he doesn't own a mirror, he can always go look in a toilet. I couldn't be bothered to waste my breath on him. I had security toss him out and put his name on the blacklist. Oh, come on, Chun Xian. Stop laughing. I was telling Chun Xian about it, but I didn't expect my girl to laugh so hard she couldn't stop. Seriously, Li Pan, what on earth did you ever see in him? To be fair, Jo-hun used to have this whole refined, almost ethereal vibe. Who wouldn't have been charmed? Who knew he'd turn out like this? Chun Xian gripped my hand sympathetically. You're right. Everyone has a few black marks on their record in life. And for you, Li Pan, dating Jo-hun is the biggest stain on your 24 years. After saying that, she started howling with laughter again, like she'd lost her mind. The other guests at the restaurant kept looking our way. I pulled my hat down over my head and pretended I didn't know her. Chun Xian's conscience finally kicked in. She felt bad for laughing at me and said she'd take me out later to have some fun. We went to a birthday party for a friend from our circle. So, not bad, right? Chun Xian slurred, a drink in her hand. It was decent. The servers, both the men and the women, were gorgeous. Total eye candy. You know how it is. Whenever you're in a good mood, someone always shows up to ruin your vibe. A waitress came in to refill the drinks. Some guy, and I'm being generous by calling him a guy, he was seriously hideous. started whistling at her. Like he hadn't seen a woman in 8 lifetimes. Hey, little sister, you're a real looker. How about you dance for your big bro? The waitress knew that most of the people here were either rich or powerful, so she was too scared to say anything. I cleared my throat. Haven't you ever seen someone dance before? The waitress shot me a grateful look. Who the hell are you, sticking your nose in my business? They say even Rome has an inner and outer city. The people outside the second ring road envy those by the imperial city walls, and those by the walls envy the ones inside the red walls. So it's no surprise there are some lowlifes who don't know who I am. Doesn't matter. After today, he will. Listen up, you fat pig. You want to see a fucking dance? Go home and ask your mother to dance for you. The lowlife's face instantly turned beet red, like he was mutating. It's not like he had an honest face to begin with. You bitch, I dare you to say that again. What the fuck? How many mothers does he think he has? Talking to me like that. That's the last straw. Here, sweetie, hold my jacket. I handed my jacket to the waitress. Chin Xian, close your eyes. Your big sis is about to go on a rampage. You're so cool, sis. Chan Xian knew what I was capable of. She wasn't worried at all. The words had barely left my mouth when I grabbed a beer bottle and smashed it right between the lowlife's eyes. Things got way out of hand, and someone called the cops. Inside the police station, the lowlife was a blubbering mess, snot and tears everywhere, telling the officer his sob story. I could barely look at him. Funny mud pee. See, officer? That's the kind of filthy language she was using. This lowlife was surprisingly naive. No, I didn't say that. Officer, I was just practicing my English, I said, blinking my big, innocent eyes and looking utterly wronged. After we gave our statements, they told us to have a family member come pick us each up. I hadn't expected this. This was my real trial. If my oldest brother and my sister found out, I'd be grounded for sure. So I chose my slightly more reasonable second brother. Second brother, come get me at the police station. What now? Did you get into trouble again? Is anyone hurt? Me. Am I really a person who gets into that much trouble? Please. You think I got this Taekwondo black belt for nothing. All right. I'm on a business trip right now. I'll have someone come pick you up, okay? Okay, brother. I put on my best sweet and obedient voice. Chun Xian's older sister had already come and gone with her. Outside the station, the lowlife and I were having a silent, long-distance shouting match. Why silent? Because the officers were still right there. Soon, a black Bentley pulled up. A man in a sharp suit got out. Fu bacon. If I'm a little princess of the Beijing elite, then this guy is the honest-to-God crown prince. The real deal, the one from inside the red walls. He's also the future husband my old man picked out for me. He exchanged a few words with the police chief, then motioned for me to get in the car. Hold on a sec, there's one more thing I need to do. The lowlife was just about to be picked up, too. I walked over to his car, landed a vicious kick on him, and then ran for it. That one kick, I guarantee, will have him recovering for half a month. In the Bentley, Fu Beichen was resting with his eyes closed. I was catching a mosquito. Yes, that's right, I was catching a mosquito. With a smack, the mosquito was finally in the palm of my hand. Little mosquito, trying to take me on? Humph. I was still feeling smug when Fu Beichen's sharp gaze swept over me. I was catching a mosquito. I didn't do it on purpose. Like an idiot, I even held up my hand to show him the mosquito's corpse. Fu Beichen took a handkerchief from his pocket and handed it to me. Wipe it clean. He's the only man I've ever met who I think is colder than the Siberian wind. Oh, thanks. I don't know what happened, but the car suddenly slammed on its brakes. Generally, people's instinct in a dangerous situation is to save themselves. In that split second, I looked for something to hold on to. So I grabbed the front of Fu Beichen's shirt. A button popped off, and the view underneath was faintly visible. The driver quickly apologized, saying there had just been a rear-end collision up ahead. Aren't you going to let go? Hearing that, I quickly let go, apologizing profusely. Fu Beichen calmly and deliberately straightened his clothes. I wanted to do something to ease the atmosphere in the car, so my brain glitched and I blurted out, "Your pecs are huge. Fu Bacon." The atmosphere in the car got even worse. When we finally got home, I said goodbye and fled as if escaping. Guys, who gets it? I've never been so mortified in my entire life. Bro, why did you have Fu Beichin come pick me up? I writhed on my bed in anguish. Isn't this the perfect chance for you two to get closer? I was speechless. After hanging up, I immediately went to my Pretty Girl Warriors group chat to vent. Regulars. Chun Xian, Lu Jinling. Me. Something big might be going down in the capital's elite circle. Lu Jinling. Chun Xian, who had a secret love child this time. So juicy. Me. To keep the conversation from derailing any further, I quickly typed before Chun Xian could respond again. Me. I stripped Fu Beichin's clothes off. He's probably going to hunt me down now. Grimace.jpg. Chun Xian who? Who did you say? Ha 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 ha, you are so screwed. Lu Jinling, it's fine. Sooner or later, you were going to strip him anyway. Isn't he your husband? What's wrong with my girl checking out the goods ahead of time? Chun Xian, Lu Jinling, you're on a roll, keep it coming. I'm not laughing. It's just that I'm not naturally a smiley person. Chun Xian, wait a minute, isn't Fu Beichin supposed to be expanding the market in Northern Europe? Why is he suddenly back? Me beats me. Lu Jinling, isn't it obvious? The man is 29. Of course, he came back to marry our dear Anen. Me. Wow, Lu Jinling, your insults are getting real sophisticated. But you know, it's like that girl has a blessed tongue. The very next day, I was summoned back to the family estate. Pan, Beichin is back now too. When are you two planning on getting married? My dad's question left me completely stunned. I shot a look at my second brother beside me, signaling for him to help me out, but he just pretended not to see. Dad, what's the rush? Second brother isn't even married yet. Humph. If you won't help me, I'll just have to drag you down with me. At this, my dad angrily slammed his teacup down. We'll deal with that rebellious son of mine later. We're talking about you now. Beichin is 2 years older than your second brother. Our family isn't in a hurry, but his, Uncle Fu's family must be. They're just too polite to say anything. It was true. Fu Beichin's drive for his career was on another level, which was why Uncle Fu was so anxious. The man had no time for romance. He was all business. No wonder he was making a killing. My eldest sister chimed in. Pan, Fu Beichin's character is absolutely top-notch. And most importantly, your brother-in-law told me he's in great shape. She whispered that last part in my ear, and my face instantly flushed red. Ugh, is that something you can even say? So lewd. The wedding date was set by my father and Mr. Fu. I never thought I'd be trendy enough to play the marry first, love later game. The newspaper headlines read, "A powerful union between the Fu and Li families in an unprecedentedly grand wedding." I don't know about grand, but my body was about to collapse. For one wedding reception, I had to change into over 30 different outfits. Over 30. This wasn't some live-action dress-up game. If that wasn't bad enough, there's that bastard Fu Beichin. He has the face of a stoic ascetic, but behind closed doors, he's a ravenous wolf. When I woke up this morning, my skin was covered in bruises, all from where that bastard had been biting me. My body ached all over, yet he was sleeping soundly. Right now, I really just want to shove his head in the toilet. So I decided to stir up some trouble and pinched his nose shut. Startled awake, he used his long limbs to pin me down in one swift move. Stop messing around. His voice was surprisingly languid and pleasant. When will I ever stop being a sucker for that domineering CEO voice? When I woke up again, the spot next to me was empty. That bastard Fu Beichin. He certainly mastered the art of loving and leaving. Damn, Pan, did he suck the life right out of you last night? Those dark circles are huge. Chun Xian grabbed my face, examining it up and down. Lu Jinling, however, was unfazed, slowly brewing tea. Her Mr. Fu has been buried in work for so long. It's understandable he'd be a little pent-up after finally cutting loose. Oh, our poor little NN. My face instantly flushed crimson. Lu Jinling, it's the middle of the day. What's with the gutter talk? And to think, the next time we see our Pan, she's a married woman. Chun Xian shook her head with theatrical regret. You're the married woman. We'll be girls forever. Now that you're married, can we still go clubbing together? If your Mr. Fu finds out, is he going to have us killed? Chun Xian then put on her best domineering CEO voice, mimicking a famous line from a novel. A chill is in the air. Let the Chun Corporation go bankrupt. The shameless girl cackled. To prove that I was the one who called the shots at home, I stubbornly went to a club that very night. Maybe it was just false bravado, but I had a few too many. By the end of the night, I was drunk, but my mouth just kept on running. 1415926, that's right. I have this weird quirk when I drink too much. I recite pi. Since I only know the first 7 digits, I just repeat them over and over. That's when Fu Beichen's call came through that I answered with a cool swipe and slurred. Hello? Who is this? The man on the other end of the line seemed a little angry. I'm your husband. I immediately tossed my phone into my drink. The move left Lu Jinling and the others completely stunned. Some guy is claiming to be my husband. How terrifying is that? I'm a single girl. Where would I even get a husband? I said, and then promptly passed out, leaving Lu Jinling and Chun Xian to stare at each other. Chun Xian, I think the Qin Corporation might actually go bankrupt. Lu Jinling, don't just stand there. Hurry, and get this girl over to him before Mr. Fu comes to settle the score. At that moment, I had no idea what a great challenge I was about to face. Mingjing Gardens, the home I shared with Fu Beichen. Just 2 minutes ago, my flaky friend had dumped me on Fu Beichen and bolted. I collapsed onto the sofa like I didn't have a bone in my body. Hey you, why are you just standing there? Get me a glass of water. I started ordering him around like I owned the place. The hey you in question, who had been trying to swallow his anger, let out a laugh of pure exasperation. But he brought me a glass of water anyway. Somehow, though, bringing me water led to us ending up in bed. They say you don't mess with a tiger. Man, what a painful lesson to learn. Fu Beichen unhurriedly undid his clothes, set his gold-rimmed glasses aside, and casually grabbed a tie to bind my hands. I thought I wore you out last night. Turns out you're not tired at all. Fu Beichen's voice was a devil's whisper. You can imagine what happened next. All night long, the entire endless night, he devoured me, leaving me utterly spent. By morning, I couldn't even get out of bed. A certain someone, however, went off to work looking refreshed and completely satisfied after having his fill. Fu Beichen, you're an animal. Give me back my innocence. In the middle of all this, the bastard had the nerve to call and check on me. Are you up yet? Can't. Paralyzed, I snarled. In that case, never mind. He actually sounded disappointed. I was just going to say, you could use my private jet. Take your friends shopping abroad. What? A private jet? That is an obscene level of wealth. I'm up. I'm perfectly fine now. In that moment, dizzy with happiness, I completely forgot everything that bastard had done. One condition, I don't want to see you in a nightclub again. Is that even a condition? That's as easy as pie. You got it, sugar daddy. Work hard, okay? Don't forget you've got a little money-eating monster to support at home. On the other end of the line, Fu Beichen chuckled, then shook his head in fond exasperation. In Chun Xian's words, I'm one of those rare women whose life is actually better after marriage. My tycoon husband and I may not have love, but we have money. I can use his private jet to fly to fashion shows in France whenever I want, and I have so many bags and diamonds that they need their own room. Fu Beichen also doesn't have the nasty habit of keeping a mistress. Compared to most men, he's an absolute catch. The only thing that annoys me is that his stamina is a little too good. Having spent so much of his money, I feel a little bad. The least I can do is check in on him every now and then. So, I open that green chat app. Me, hubby, what ya doing? Tilting my head, blinking my big, sparkly eyes, and asking in a cheerful, girlish voice. After waiting for a long time, Fu Beichen still hadn't replied. Me, why aren't you answering me? Furrowing my brow and sticking out my lower lip in a playful pout. This time, CEO Fu, who was in the middle of a meeting in the conference room, finally didn't ignore it. Hearing the notification chime, I picked up my phone. That man, in a meeting. I could feel his exasperation through the screen, and I slapped the table and burst out laughing. Lu Jinling, who was sitting next to me, saw the chat on my illuminated screen. Sometimes, I think CEO Fu is pretty helpless when he's online by himself, she said, giving me a complicated look. The days trickled by, and Fu Beichen and I maintained a strange kind of balance in our relationship. For instance, when I threw a fit, he got scared. When I spent money, he made it. Or how I'd fly around the world for fashion shows, and he'd fly around the world for meetings. To reward him for all his hard work, I recently took up cooking. My mom, Ms. Fong, has a famous saying, "The way to a man's heart is through his stomach." I don't know if I'd captured Fu Beichen's heart, but I definitely captured his intestines. The second he finished a meal I made, he'd be running for the bathroom. Haha, maybe it was our own twisted form of affection. Lately, though, my skills have genuinely improved. I don't give him the runs anymore, though I can't make any guarantees. I packed a lunchbox and drove over to the Fu Corporation myself. The receptionists downstairs all knew me well. "Mrs. Fu, here to bring Mr. Fu his lunch again." "That's right. Your Mr. Fu is so picky, he only likes my cooking." I checked the time. I'd made it right at the start of the lunch hour. "Talk to you all later. My hubby is waiting for me." I left the young women to their chatter. "Mrs. Fu and Mr. Fu are so in love." "I know, right? She's such a good wife." "That's right. Keep spreading my good name. Fu Beichen is the luckiest man alive to have me as his wife." Satisfied, I got on the elevator. The executive assistant outside his office saw me and started to announce my arrival, but I waved him off. I wanted to conduct a little surprise inspection, see if he was cheating on me. I flung the door open. And what can I say? I actually caught him. The sight that greeted me was Fu Beichen sitting in his chair with a woman in a very revealing outfit draped over him, her arms wrapped around his neck, her head resting on his chest. At the sight of me, they both froze with shocked expressions, or so it seemed. "Oh, my bad. Wrong room. You two carry on." I pulled the door shut again and exhaled slowly. I left the lunchbox on top of the water cooler outside. So I was right. Fu Beichen, you bastard, daring to cheat on me behind my back. But why did I feel like crying? I chalked it up to my attachment to the private jet and all those diamonds. As the elevator doors were closing, I saw Fu Beichen come running out. But I was a step faster. The doors slid shut before he could get in. I drove back to the apartment I had lived in before getting married. On the way, my phone rang nonstop. It was Fu Beichen every time. I just turned it off. Back home, I had my assistant, Xiao Qiao, draw up the divorce papers. Quick as ever, she sent the documents over within half an hour. To get the divorce over with quickly, I wasn't even asking for a cut of Fu Beichen's billion-dollar fortune. All I wanted were the handbags and diamonds he'd given me. What can I say? Limited edition handbags are my one true love. Besides, I couldn't have shared his bed all this time for nothing. He could dream on. Only Xiao Qiao and I knew about the divorce. I hadn't even told Chen Xian or Lu Jinling. Once everything was ready, I curled up in the living room, mulling over how I was going to explain this to my parents. A divorce between the Fu and Li families was bound to cause a massive scandal after all. But then I figured, to hell with it. Let the world fall into chaos. I was getting my sleep. I calmly went out to a Michelin-starred restaurant for dinner. I was even in the right state of mind to compliment the chef, telling him the steak that night was excellent. Anyone else would have thought I'd completely lost my mind. At 8 p.m., I showed up right on time at Mingjing Ting with the divorce papers. The house was pitch black. So eager, huh? Couldn't even be bothered to come home. I changed my shoes in the entryway and was about to head inside when a sudden sound came from the living room. As the lights flicked on, I saw it was Fu Beichen. "Are you insane? Sitting at home in the dark? What's with the ghost act?" I slammed my purse down with a thwack and pulled out the divorce papers. "If it looks good to you, sign it." I thrust the papers at him. He stared at them for a long time, and my temper started to flare. "Don't worry, I didn't ask for any of your real estate. Let's just have a clean break." How had I never realized this man was so cheap? "I'm not signing." He tossed the papers decisively onto the table. "What? Is something wrong with it? Tell me and I'll change it." What a loser, haggling over every last penny. I couldn't be bothered to argue with him. "I don't want a divorce," Fu Beichen said, rubbing the bridge of his nose. Hilarious. He really thinks he can have his cake and eat it too. I knew it. You finance guys really have some nerve. So what's the plan? You come home Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you're with her on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Don't bother. I'm happy to step aside for you too. After all, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Fu Beichen stood up and walked over to me, placing his hands on my shoulders, his expression serious. What, was he going to hit a woman? I've had training. Payne, you've said your piece. Can you please let me explain? This bastard. Cornered, and still trying to talk his way out of it. Fine talk. I said that, but I had absolutely no desire to listen. First, I believe marriage is for life, between two people. I would never have an emotional affair, let alone a physical one. Second, what happened today was just a misunderstanding. She's a new hire from HR with some improper ideas, trying to take a shortcut. That's a convenient story. You think I believe that? But you didn't reject her, did you? When you came in, I was just about to tell her to get out, but her hair got caught on my button. The rest is what you saw. After saying that, he pulled out his phone, clearly prepared, and showed me the surveillance footage from the incident. So, I really had wronged him. But it was still his fault. Why'd he have to be born with a face that makes young women swoon? Payne, I respect your feelings, but I don't want you to decide the fate of our marriage so easily. All right, fine. We're not getting divorced. Why are you being so sappy? But if there's a next time, I won't tolerate it. The way he talks is so cheesy. Ugh. With the misunderstanding cleared up, my anger naturally dissipated. Looking at him now, his eyes were a little misty from feeling wronged, and it made me want to tease him. Damn. Sure enough, a man's vulnerability is his best dowry. I'm the type of person who acts on impulse. Under the light, I leaned in and kissed him. He also splurged on a yacht for me, so I could throw parties with my girlfriends whenever I wanted. The only condition, no men allowed. Of course, love is a two-way street. Since he's so good to me, I have to think of him too. So now when I go out, I find myself browsing the men's department to pick out a few suits for Fu Beichen. He has such a great body that he can pull off even the most bizarre outfits I choose. This only fueled my desire to shop more. Now I'm always dragging Chen Xian and the girls to go look at menswear. When you were a kid, you were obsessed with changing your Barbie's outfits. I guess now that you're married, you're obsessed with changing Fu Beichen's, Lu Jinling said, completely exasperated. Other than at our wedding, I'd basically never seen Uncle Fu and Auntie Lu. We spent Fu Beichen's birthday at the old family home. To give him a surprise, I'd baked a cake beforehand. It looked decent, but I still couldn't guarantee it was safe to eat. When I presented the cake to him, he smiled and said, "Thank you." At that moment, the old butler standing nearby said with relief, "Young master, it's been a long time since you've been this happy." "Huh. How can you be that rich and still not be happy?" "Whatever. I just resent the rich." "Haha, is that right? Maybe he's got facial paralysis. I should take him for a checkup when I get a chance." Fu Beichen is an only child, so his family has always been very strict with him. Even at dinner now, I feel like I'm suffocating. My family is huge, so our meals are always loud and chaotic. Fu Beichen is just like his father, serious. There were only 4 of us at the entire dinner table, including me, and I just can't stand such a solemn atmosphere. The second dinner was over, I grabbed Fu Beichen and made a run for it. Now I get why you don't smile much. The 3 of you are all so serious, and none of you likes to talk. Is it tough living with a chatterbox like me? I skipped ahead, then turned to look at him. It's not tough. I like it a lot, he replied, looking me seriously in the eyes. Geez, why was this guy being so serious? My heart almost skipped a beat. Thanks. I was just forcing conversation, having run out of things to say. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, it was our first wedding anniversary. I took Fu Beichen to my parents' house for dinner. During the meal, Mom and Dad started dropping hints about us having a baby. I had no desire to have kids at the time, but I understood the older generation's wish to have grandchildren, so I just listened quietly. And my husband, Fu Beichen, he was the true warrior. Mom, Dad, Pan is the one who has to carry the child. We can't go through that suffering for her, so we have to respect her wishes. If she says she doesn't want to, then we won't. I will answer to my own family. My mom actually shed a couple of tears, praising Fu Beichin for being so responsible. Your father never said anything like that for me. My sister was right when she said he was a man of good character with sound values. A husband like him must be my reward for years of good deeds. On our 5th wedding anniversary, I got pregnant. With twins. During the first trimester, I found out the babies were malpositioned. Fu Beichin dropped everything at work to stay home and take care of me. At 5 months, I could eat anything and everything. But Fu Beichin started getting morning sickness. The doctor said it was because he was so anxious and worried about me and the babies. At 7 months, carrying twins, I was getting bigger and bigger. I was constantly anxious about my body, and whenever the anxiety hit, I'd suspect Fu Beichin was cheating on me. I would fly into a rage, saying cruel things and regretting them immediately after. Fu Beichin would just hold me, calming me down over and over, letting me punch and kick at him. As the babies grew bigger, I couldn't sleep at night at all. Even breathing was a struggle. So I'd wake up Fu Beichin after he'd worked a full day just to have him sit on the couch with me. He never said a word of complaint. Soon enough, the day of the delivery came. To avoid a scar, I chose a natural birth. God, it hurt like hell. In the delivery room, I cursed out Fu Beichin and 18 generations of his ancestors. After 10 hours, the twins were finally born, a boy and a girl. The older brother's nickname is Barbecue Pork Bun, and the younger sister's is Malt Candy. I picked them. Fu Beichin's side story. My name is Fu Beichin, and everyone calls me the Crown Prince of Beijing. I've never taken any particular pride in being born into the Fu family, but its only use was that it allowed me to marry Li Pan. I'm 5 years older than her. Ever since she was a kid, she had a lively personality. She was always stirring up trouble, and she'd pretty much beaten up every boy in the neighborhood. Sometimes, when she couldn't handle the trouble she'd caused, she'd beg her second brother to come with her to my house. It was the first time I'd ever seen a little girl who could talk so much, chirping away like the bird my grandpa kept. Beichin, you're so handsome. Beichin, you're so quiet. Beichin, my second brother says your family is richer than mine, so when we grow up, you can be my husband and buy me Barbie dolls. Kids really say whatever's on their mind. But our families did have a marriage arrangement, so I really was her future husband. When she came over, I found her noisy, but when she didn't, I'd miss her. After middle school, my father sent me abroad to study. The next time I saw her, I had already graduated from college. She was as lively as ever, but she was quiet only around me. She had probably forgotten me. I was sent to Northern Europe to develop the market. Her second brother, Li Xuan, would occasionally tell me things about her. For instance, who she was dating, or what kind of trouble she'd gotten into. I didn't want to sit idly by. I was afraid that if I stayed in Northern Europe, someone else would snatch Pan away. Not long after I returned to the country, Li Xuan called and asked me to bail Pan out of the police station. She was still as brave and passionate as ever. In front of me, though, she still didn't dare to speak. After I got home, I told my father I wanted to get married. I didn't want to wait any longer. On the first day of our marriage, Pan went to a nightclub to put me in my place. I was furious, but blaming her wouldn't improve the situation. It would only push her further away. So, I catered to her interests, giving her things she'd like, and used those opportunities to make my own requests. After she came into my life, my bland existence finally gained some color. She would send me quirky things while I was at work. They were completely nonsensical, but she never got tired of it. When she was shopping abroad, she would also pick up a few pairs of cufflinks for me. Although she hadn't fully accepted me, things were moving in the right direction. Until one day, a new employee from HR, under the pretext of getting a document signed, began to undress in front of me. I sternly ordered her to get out. She went for broke anyway, her hair even getting caught on my shirt button. That's when Pan walked in. I panicked and wanted to explain. She left without a backward glance. She's always been a decisive woman. I called her phone over and over, but she kept rejecting the calls. The housekeeper at home also said Pan hadn't come back. I called Li Xuan and tried to ask indirectly, and he said Pan hadn't been back to her family's place. It was the first time in my life I'd ever lost my composure like that. I was in a daze through all my subsequent meetings. I had the HR manager fire that employee and had someone from the IT department copy the surveillance footage from that time onto my phone, from every camera angle. I couldn't continue working. In this state, I would only make mistakes. Still worried, I had my secretary track her down but told him not to disturb her. I only relaxed a little after I was sure she was safe. Payne had never been very secure in our relationship, and this misunderstanding could be the catastrophe that ended our marriage. I waited at home from morning till night. It's embarrassing to admit, but after not having shed a tear for over 20 years, I felt the urge to cry. The moment Payne walked in the door, she threw a set of divorce papers at me. I read through the papers, my heart aching with anger. She stood there, saying things designed to get under my skin. It was only when I showed her the surveillance footage that she reluctantly believed me. The feeling of almost losing someone, only to get them back. It's a terrible, yet wonderful, feeling. Payne always said I wasn't romantic enough, that I was like a rigid mountain. So I asked Special Assistant Wong for advice. He's very experienced. The results were remarkable, and our relationship got better and better. It just goes to show, if you want to keep your wife happy, you have to be willing to swallow your pride. On our 5th wedding anniversary, Payne got pregnant. These 2 little ones were quite a handful, always causing some kind of commotion. I dropped all my work and dedicated myself to taking care of Payne. I learned to cook all sorts of recipes for pregnant women, and by the end of it, I had become quite a chef. At 35, my life was finally complete. I had a beloved wife and wonderful children. Heaven has truly blessed me,